What is up, everybody? This is Red Cards, and welcome to the start of a new series entitled The Kings of FanDuel. I really like FanDuel, and for the last couple of years, I've been delving deeper and deeper into fantasy sports. Last year, I had a fantasy team. Not going to be doing that this year. I'm going to be focusing more on the FanDuel and DraftKings. Now, DraftKings I won't be doing either because I actually like the look and the design and the layout more of FanDuel, and last year I made about $50. So hey, $50 is $50, and I'm very thrilled and very happy to have that. Now, this Kings of FanDuel is going to be kind of like a podcast feel, but it's not going to be a podcast because we've got some challengers among us in the realm of Twitter and YouTube subscribers. So, here's how we'll be doing this. We will basically be doing a weekly contest, a simple dollar entry, to see who can be the king of FanDuel by the end of the season. Now, this, of course, will start after the preseason, so you guys will see my Week 1 picks, and then at Week 2, I'll be showing you my picks and showing you the results of Week 1. Week 3, I'll be showing you my picks, the results of Week 2, etc., etc. So Week 1 may be a little bit of a boring episode, but I'll explain why I make my picks every week, how I do against these guys, and also how I'm doing in the other contests I've entered. You can see on the screen right now, I have a whopping $58.55. That started at $50, and I've won 2 contests so far. I think one was just a dollar contest, and the one last night was a $4 contest. I'm currently recording this on August 10th, so I'm very thrilled and very happy for the regular season to be coming up here in a couple of weeks. I start school in about a week, so things may be getting a little crazy, but I'm going to do my best to stick with it and keep the videos coming out for you guys, and of course the box breaks as well. Now, enough of my talking, let's go into our challengers. Our challengers, not only including myself, is New Guy Took My MOJ, T. Miller, Go Outside Guy, JC with lots of threes, and Cronin Card Breaks. Now, this may change if somebody wants to duck out and somebody else may want to come in. I also know that you have to have a certain amount of people in your league. The one I did last year was only 3 people, simple dollar entry kind of stuff. And the way that we're going to be doing it this year, it'll be more or less the same way. $1 entry fee, and I might honestly just stick it to the time of the noon slot, just in order to give me time to edit everything and have it out to you guys on Monday, as Mondays will be one of my very busy days. I'll be mowing yards, I'll be going to one of my other jobs, and then I'll also be going to school. So I want to make sure that I can still put something out for you guys at 5 o'clock on a Monday. So one of the first things we're going to do is discuss the rules. The rules are very simple. Every person in this league must have their team submitted before kickoff, or simply put, no one's going to win any money. Now, it's $1, so it's not a huge deal, but it basically cancels every other person's entry, and it's hard to find out who the king of FanDuel is if our entries don't count. So everybody has to have their entries in before kickoff of Sunday at noon. Entry fee is only $1, and so far we've got 6 people in this. I don't know if we have to round up to 10 or round down to 5. Currently, I can't make the FanDuel League at this moment quite yet, simply because we're on the first week, basically, of preseason football. The Chiefs play the Bengals tonight, and I understand that when you're hearing this, it's 2-3 weeks past that, but that's just the truth. So once I can create the league, we'll know more if we need more or less people. And that's kind of it for the rules. Everybody just needs to have their team in. It's $1 entry. I'm thinking first place gets $3, second place gets 2, third place gets 1 and breaks even. But the main thing we'll be focusing on right now is who places where. And the person who places the best throughout the season, not on average per se, but if you get first, you get a point, you get second, you get 2 points, etc., etc. Whoever has the lowest amount of points by the end of the season is basically our FanDuel champion. So that is kind of how the series is going to go, and my phone is wanting to record everything I say. But yeah, you guys may be wondering now, why have I been staring at a computer screen for the past maybe 10 minutes? Well, that's because I want to give you guys basically some of my tips before the season starts. Now, I know I'm no seasoned veteran to FanDuel. I know that I'm not somebody who wins thousands of dollars, but I'm somebody who stays in the positive practically the whole season. I may have a bad week or two, but I bounce right back pretty easily. So this right here that you guys can see is a contest during last season. You can see I won. I'm right here. The Chiefs rules, because the Chiefs rule was already taken. It was $1 entry fee, and I won 20 bucks. Now, this is one of my best contests because I placed top 10. I actually placed 6th out of 1,190 people, which was very, very nice. So I'm going to scroll down here. You guys can see it wasn't really a contest. I lost by 16 points. However, you guys can see the lineup that I had. I had Mahomes, Hunt, Chubb, Hill, Ridley, Amendola, James, Coleman, and the Dolphins. Now, there are several things I do with this lineup that I typically would not do. The first thing that I typically wouldn't do is actually, Kareem Hunt's just suspended half the season, so he's not out. I was like, why would I put him in? Normally, I wouldn't choose players from my favorite team. You guys can see Mahomes, Hunt, and Hill. We're all in there. We all know Kansas City had a fire offense last season, and I hope it continues into this season. But typically, you want to be wary of how much players are going to cost you. You can see that he chose McCaffrey, and McCaffrey was a solid pick at $7,900. Nick Chubb was honestly a solid pick at $6,600. So you can see where I went cheap and where I went more expensive. You can see that players like Jesse James, Danny Amendola didn't do that well. And you can see on my flex that I have Tevin Coleman. He also had Tevin Coleman. Now, notice that I have a running back on my flex. I always put a running back on my flex who does not split carries and who will carry the ball, I'd say like 90% of the game, if not 100. So last season, the Chiefs were using Kareem Hunt practically on every play. He got chosen, and then Chubb was going off as well. And then, of course, Tevin Coleman was playing because I believe, I think it was Ridley, or I can't remember who it was, wasn't playing at the time. So, easy picks, honestly. Of course, the Bears have a good defense, so that was an easy pick for him, but I went cheap because I spent more on a quarterback. Now, another tip I have for you guys, obviously I've already talked about, putting that running back in that flex position. Again, you don't want to choose one that splits carries, but you want to stack a quarterback with some of their players. So you look, I have Patrick Mahomes, Kareem Hunt, Hill. Easily I get double points on touchdowns if Mahomes throws a touchdown to Kareem Hunt or Tyreek Hill. Fitzpatrick he had Deshaun Jackson and O.J. Howard. So he also did a stack as well. So you can see kind of where the stack comes into play. I usually stack a quarterback with one running back and one wide receiver. With the Chiefs, it can be very hard to do stacks because they have so many offensive weapons, and we all know that Patrick is good about spreading the ball around quite a bit. Another thing to look at, guys, and one of the things I honestly always choose first is your defense. You guys can see I have the Dolphins defense and they have the Bears defense. You can see that I put them up against the Jets because the Jets just were the Jets last season and they were struggling. So it really wasn't that hard of a choice for me to choose the Dolphins in that game. Now, the Dolphins weren't great either, but in that game they had 4 interceptions, 4 sacks, something returned, I think an interception for a touchdown and a fumble return for a touchdown. So they had a really good game. The Bears against Buffalo was a choice I wanted to make, but of course couldn't because they cost $5,400 compared to my $4,200. Fumble recovery for a touchdown, 3 interceptions, just 4 sacks, on and on and on. So they had a great game as well. Now, I choose the defense first so I can spend more money on everybody else. Your average dollars left goes up, and they've gotten rid of kickers, so that makes me very happy. Otherwise, there's not a lot else to tell you guys. Like I said, running backs get the most touches, so you want to do really well on that. Of course, obviously, do your research. Choose a QB who averages a high amount in throwing attempts, a receiver who gets targeted a lot, a running back who gets a lot of carries or also gets targeted a lot, which is why McCaffrey was a good choice for him over here. McCaffrey was a really good player out of the backfield, and he runs the ball. He's used a lot in the system with the Carolina Panthers like Hunt was last season with the Chiefs. Lastly, guys, I know this one is very tough, and this is where I crashed and burned my first year doing this. Choose your players biasly. You may be a Chiefs fan, and they're coming up against Cleveland, And in my heart and soul, I knew, Chiefs can win this easily. That's no problem. But yet our person who got first place in this contest put Fitzpatrick up against Carolina. Ain't no way, really, unless it's the first couple weeks of last season when Fitzpatrick was Fitzmagic, that he was going to beat Carolina. So you got to choose players you know will excel in the game they're in, or you know that they're going to be two high-powered offenses against each other, racking up the points. Example like the Chiefs and the Rams last season, where each team went over 50 points. So that is basically it, guys. That is my tips for you guys. That is the start of our series. I'm really looking forward to it. I'm just hoping it all works out. No one forgets to enter a lineup or anything like that. I'm hoping we don't have to kick anybody out for not, entering that lineup, or people don't back out, or we have to kick somebody out to meet a quota. I'm hoping that everybody hops on board and we're all responsible with this and we all have a great time. I hope you guys enjoy the videos because they will be coming out once a week, probably on a Monday due to new releases happening on Wednesdays, and then box breaks as of now on Wednesdays as well. But we will see who the true king of FanDuel is at the end of the season. Guys, thank you so much for watching. Like, subscribe, all that stuff. Hopefully that balance goes up over $60 here tonight. I've got a contest I'm in, 49ers and somebody else. First preseason game for them, and then of course I've got my Chiefs playing tonight. So have a great rest of your night, guys. Thank you for watching. If you've got any FanDuel tips, feel free to comment them down below. Or if you play FanDuel and want into the league, let me know also, and if there is space, we can throw you in. Thank you guys so much for watching. Like, subscribe, all that stuff, and I will talk to you all later.